Welcome to Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast. It's your host Hatch with my boy.
Yeah, you know who it is, who I be, T.O. in the building. Holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy. Yo, we have Justin Gatlin coming to the show today. Olympic champion, set multiple records. And yes, today, ladies and gentlemen, he will, the only time, be the fastest guy on this show. I will be the second fastest. And this slow guy right here, T.O. will be the third fastest. Face the facts, brother.
Yeah, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to prove it. I'm willing to prove it. Him, on the other hand, it's all mouth if you can't prove it. So we all know. I'll let the people decide for themselves who's the fastest when Justin, who's the second fastest when Justin gets on this show. But I cannot wait to talk to this guy. Definitely a surprise guest for us, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like to be. I mean, an Olympic sprinter.
Yeah.
I mean,
champion.
And to represent the United States of America, that's huge. Yeah. Again, if anybody could represent their country to the fullest, that would be me. And I just hate that I wasn't really on the. I wasn't afforded the opportunity to be on that type of stage. Because, bro, trust me, bro, I know what type of energy I bring, bro. When it's just like a big game, bro. You talking about everybody across the country watching you. That's like nitric oxide in your tank.
And that, I guess that's one of the things about the NFL that we don't get the benefit of going overseas and playing in big Monday night games or big playoff games and being on that world stage. Because even though here in America, we big and NFL is huge and I get all that, but yeah, it's nothing like being overseas and letting the whole world get to watch, you work on your craft.
Right, bro. You get to represent and show people like you're one of the most elite of the elite. And I know that me finishing my career, being in the Hall of Fame, like I'm one of the elite, dude, just to put myself in that conversation and just magnify that, put it on a global stage, bro. I never got the opportunity because I know I'm like one of the top athletes that ever graced the football field in
you
this
are
country.
not. No, you're not.
In this country.
You are in
this country. And it's unknown. That's the thing. People don't know that. They have glimpses. I've shown glimpses, but they really don't know, bro. When you talk about Deion and Bo Jackson, bro, I'm one of those guys, bro.
You're not in that category.
I just never played two.
Physically, you're not in that category. Physically, you're never. No, we're not talking about me. We're talking about you.
You got too much hair on your face, and it's getting in your mouth and your everything, bro. I don't know what's happening to you.
Hey, I'm going to get a haircut within the next week.
2 minutes. You need to get a haircut in the next 2 minutes. That's what you need to get a haircut.
Hey, look.
Yes.
Get your Popcorn Ready podcast as soon as I get my haircut coming up.
Boy, if I could cut your hair right now through this screen, bro, I would. And I'll miss a couple of spots too. But yeah, man, let's bring this guy on. Justin Gatlin, Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast. Here I am with T.O. and your boy Hatch. Let's welcome Justin Gatlin to the show. Let's do it.
Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast. You can find us on the Himalaya app or wherever you get your podcasts.
And also, I have a YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to that. YouTube.com/Terrell Lawrence. And you can see some of the content that we have here on Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast and also some personal content as well. Be sure to subscribe.
Welcome to Get Your Popcorn. Welcome to Get Your Popcorn podcast. With your boy. We're going to start over.
Yeah, because he been doing it so many times, he still can't get it right.
Still can't get it.
Popcorn Ready podcast. That's how it's done. You know what I mean?
No, it's welcome to Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast with your host, Hatch, and my boy.
There you go. He got it that time.
There it is. You know what I'm saying? Got to get a little warm up. We got a special guest in the building today. I would say just today, he's the fastest dude on this podcast. I'm the second fastest today. I'm normally the fastest, but today I'm going to be the second fastest.
That's one of my notes. That's one of my notes. I'm officially the second fastest on here. See, I already knew what he was going to try to get at. Hey, I'm always ahead of Justin. Always ahead of.
He coming for your head, man. He coming for your head.
I'm coming for his head. So we got our special guest, Justin Gatlin, in the house, and I'm going to let you determine which one's faster, Justin, a 4.3 or a 4.4? Because T.O. was a 4.4, I was a 4.3. So I'm going to let you be the judge who's faster.
First of all, you don't even have to answer that.
No. The question's not for you, T. The question's not for you.
That's common sense. A 4.3 is obviously faster than a 4.4. Are you faster than me right now?
Today, no. Because I'm old.
Yeah, on paper, 4.3 obviously is faster than 4.4. But I want to see y'all both line up. Though. I want to see y'all run that 4.4, 4.3 right next to each other.
Hey, he doesn't want that.
That's gonna be tough, Just.
That's like it's a recipe for a 4.2 right there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Justin, you don't want that smoke.
That's a recipe for going for the hospital for me because I ain't gonna make it. My hip go fall out of place if I try to run a 40, man. But no, we appreciate you coming on the show, brother.
Yeah.
Let's come on here, have some fun. And again, I know going back a little bit in your career, I just want to talk about how you kind of got into track and, you know, your thought process and trying to be a professional in the track space. That's kind of what we want to get out there first.
Okay. All right. For me, man, it's just, I never knew I was going to be at this level. I took a year at a time. I looked at my goal setting as like a year to 2 years ahead. So I was in high school. I was like, man, I need a scholarship. So what I did is I was like, I ran my ass off and I got me a full scholarship. And then I was like, well, what am I going to do after college? So when I got in college, I was like, I'm going to run my ass off and then I'm going to get ready and turn pro. So each year I didn't kind of, you know, when you do 5-year, 10-year increments, like you get lost. You get lost in the sauce on that kind of stuff. Like, but when you do a year to 2 years, you can be able to strengthen your goals and you can stand on that as a foundation to get to the next goal.
Yep. So what were some of those obstacles during that process? Like I said, let's just take from high school to college. And what was the main obstacle to try to get your first like scholarship in track?
Beating everybody.
Yeah. Because were you fast? Were you always the fastest in your neighborhood, on your school? Were you always the fast guy, and people just like, yo, you got to race just, or were you just kind of like, you know, you just kept getting faster as time went by?
I usually was the fastest, but for me, it was the rivalry. I always had it was always another fast guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You remember who that was for you?
Oh yeah, Billy. My first fast guy I had to race against was Billy Morris, elementary school, man. I remember that because he was a prodigy, man. He was already 6 feet tall when he was in elementary school, 5th grade.
Wow.
So, so he just had strength and speed, but we always would die for the finish line when we raced at recess.
Yeah. Ooh, racing at recess. Who remembers that?
Hey, Justin, so how about this? We didn't have a whole lot of money in high school and stuff like that. So I know you probably at that early age, you probably started trying to like, you know, being an entrepreneur at an early age. So did you start running for money?
Oh yeah, for sure. All the way through from elementary school all the way to high school, we used to go out and race light pole to light pole, street race. You know how it is. So your boys would bet on you. And you know, you go out there and you make your share off the bet. So that's
did you get a little percentage from the guys that were betting on you as well as what you were betting on yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
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 All right, that's what's up.
We ran that hustle into the ground until they were like, oh, when they see me coming, they're like, oh man, we can't mess with JG. Nah, he ain't racing with us.
Nice. So what was your biggest payday when you was in high school then? When you guys was racing for, like, what was a lot of money back then? Like you won $100 that day, you was like, woo, I'm going to give me some new shoes, go to the restaurant.
It was 150 because not only did I race, you know, I was in the race, but also I had two other guys who were in the race as well, who were fast. You had a football player, and you had a guy who also ran track. And we all lined up. It was kind of like that dream race, street race. So I came on top, won 150, went straight to the store, man. Got me some J's, you know.
Straight and get some J's.
I remember my first time running for some cash, and it was like late in my career because a lot of guys didn't think that I was fast because I'm a lone strider. Yeah, and we'll get into that as well. But visually, watching film, I look slow, but they don't understand how much ground I'm eating up. So when I was in Philadelphia, they had a white guy named Sean Morey, and he played outside gunner on the punt team. So usually those guys are the fast guys. You punt the ball, those guys beat the guys in front of them, and they are sprinting, hauling ass trying to get the return guy. So everybody kept saying that he was the fastest on the team. So Freddie Mitchell, this is when I was with the Philadelphia Eagles. So Freddie Mitchell said that he was faster than me. Although they had Todd Kingston, who was a receiver, he was pretty fast as well. Real thin guy, whatever, he can get down. So I told Freddie, I said, Freddie, he's not the fastest guy. I said, dude, I'm willing to bet I'm probably like the fastest guy on this team. This is year 9. This is year 9 for me. And he was like, there's no way. He goes, bro, he goes, what you want to put on it? So I said, dude, I'll bet my game check. At that time, one of my game checks were like equivalent like about $100,000.
Okay.
Freddie's game check wasn't as large, but it was still, I would say anywhere from 20 to 50 grand.
Yeah.
Significant money. Yeah.
Right. So we went back to the inside of the bubble. We had the outside field we practiced on, then we had the inside, the turf field. So to get away from like the coaches and things of that nature, we all went down to the inside. So I already know there's track speed and then there's game speed. So I already had that mentality going into the race. So I'm going to speed this up. So we went inside. I knew that I could beat him in 100 yards because as I speed up, I'm going to get faster and faster. So I challenged myself to a 40-yard race with him.
Yeah.
Dude, when I got it, boy, I put my tights on. I got in that stance. I'm already knowing I got to get out on this cat because I know if he get out on me, it's going to be hell to catch up. I knew initially from that start, I got to get out on him. If I get it like a half a step or we come out even, hey, he was toast. Dude, I beat him at least by 1.5 yards.
But you was eating that ground up because you had them long strides. So you was eating that ground. You stride for stride with him. You was already half a step in front of him, even if you was right next to him. Yeah. So we share that story, man, about, racing for money. In high school, I would have never done that. Never in a million years. I would have got smoked. I was a late bloomer. I was a late bloomer, but I wasn't really known for my speed coming out of college. But I admire guys like yourself. And I know when I played early on in my career, they had a guy by the name of James Jett. Is that him?
Okay. I was with the Raiders with James Jett. Yep.
Yeah, I think he was a track guy, and everybody kept saying that he was an Olympic guy, Olympic speed. And so, can you tell us kind of like because a lot of people feel like there should probably be more track guys playing football, but running straight versus running routes and change of direction, that's a bit different. So how can you explain to the people why you think there's probably not a lot more track guys?
Let me set it up for you, JG, because as T.O. knows, right, every single training camp throughout our career, the team would always bring in a track guy. Like we'd have 13, 14 receivers, and then like, let's give this Olympian, the James Jett, Ron Browns of the world, let's give him a shot, but they don't expect much out of him because he's a track guy. So we also know that you end up having a tryout with the Texans. So go ahead and go into your spiel about how you think or how you believe track guys can also be a football wide receiver.
Well, I was on mini camp with the Buccaneers too at the same time when Gruden was down there. So man, it was a different world for me because my speed was not for the field because everything in football is timing. You know what I mean? You got to run a certain route at a certain time. You got to be in that window to catch the ball. You got to be able to take receivers out of that area for another receiver to be able to be in that area. So everything is set up to be intricate, right? And I didn't understand that because when I came onto the field, all I knew was you got to get out there, you got to haul ass.
Right,
when you get that ball, you got to go.
Get down the field.
So when we watching the highlight tapes, we going back at practice. All you see is I'm a blur on the screen, like whoop, whoop, whoop. So Coach Gruden had to tell me, like, look, man, it's a time and a cadence to everything. Like, just because you can get off the line faster than the guys in front of you doesn't mean that you're helping your other receivers, you're helping your teammates out. So track speed is beautiful and it's fast and it feels great, but to translate that over, you have to have a lot of discipline to be able to gauge your speed, be able to get in and out of breaks, get in and out of cuts, and sell it to be able to get open to get the ball or even be able to defend. So it's a totally different world, man. When I did that, man, ooh, my eyes were open, bro. I was like, man, this football is real.
Did you ever run the 40 for the Buccaneers?
I did. I ran. This is a funny story. Remember when Pac-Man played for the Titans, right?
Yep.
So Pac-Man got into his whole situation, and everything. So it was like, man, we need another guy who can return the ball. So I was out there trying to get my thing on in the NFL. So I got a call to come up to the Titans and to return the ball, right? So we worked on practicing, return the ball. Then they wanted me to run the 40. Boom, off the block, I ran 4.12.
Ooh.
Right?
So ladies and gentlemen out there, if you don't know what a 4.12 is, you ain't gonna believe it until you see it.
No, that's just unbelievable. That's crazy.
Because 4.2 is fast in the NFL. You running 4.12.
Why did you even run it? That was just
to show off. He's showing off.
Disrespect.
He's showing off, man.
If that was you, if that was me, I would have said no. First of all, that would have been a waste of my time. Because I don't need to go in there and run a 40 because I'm already coming with those credentials of speed anyway. So first of all, that's a waste of my time. Then you could have gotten yourself hurt running a 40 in which you didn't have to. But the most important thing, you explain and running all these routes, transitioning in and out of routes, John Gruden breaking down and really instructing, basically just letting you know like what it takes to be a receiver other than just speed. But the most important thing is you have to catch the ball. Could you catch?
I could catch. Look, listen. I'm gonna tell you what stopped me. I'm gonna tell you what stopped me from even going any further into league or trying. Two things. Mm-hmm. One, I couldn't read plays. When I played in high school, I was free safety. I never played offense.
Okay.
So reading plays, memorizing plays, you know how it is in minicamp. It's the gauntlet, the mental gauntlet, the physical gauntlet that you got to go through, right? So they gave us 10, 15 plays the first night we got there, right? So I'm thinking like, man, my roommate is asleep, right? So he's already knocked out at like 10:30. I'm up to like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning trying to memorize these plays for the next day.
Yeah.
So we wake up at like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. I'm like, all right, I got half of these plays. I'm gonna memorize 10. The other 10, I'm gonna pray to God on this one.
Yeah.
So I did that, so I was 50-50. Then the next day I was like, I'm gonna remember the other plays I forgot. They gave us a whole nother 10 plays to remember.
Absolutely. You're gonna keep adding on every day, brother.
To training camp.
Exactly. So I didn't know that. So to answer your question, T, like for me, it was I could catch. You know what I mean? I look like a receiver. You know what I'm saying? Catch it, tuck it, getting out of routes, getting out of the breaks, know the whole route tree. I knew all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I just was never taught how to read the plays as a wide receiver. And that's what really stunted my growth.
Wow, that's a big deal though, because as you know, especially for rookies coming into the NFL, even that's played in college, I say the number one thing they say is the biggest transition is that playbook, because they get in the playbook used to be, like a phone book, like a city phone book of hundreds of pages, even though now it's on an iPad. But yeah, that mental aspect of, football, a lot of people fail to realize it's a big deal. And somebody come in running a 4.1. He can run a 4.1, but that it's all goes back to what was your thing that I had to learn that playbook. That's a big deal.
You have to be smart. You have to be smart to understand and memorize the playbook in the heat of battle while you out there, and then to be able to go out there like T.O. does and be able to make things magic, make that magic happen. Mm-hmm. You got to be intelligent. And I think that's what some people don't realize.
Yeah. I appreciate.
Yeah, because T is not intelligent, so that's a shocker. That is a truth.
I appreciate those kind words, Justin. When you said magic, that I automatically just perked up because that's what I tried to do. I tried to create magic. When you're a receiver, you have to be one of those. Not just you got to do more than just produce or just be out there. Just running routes and being a possession receiver. That's what I wanted to do. I had to try to enhance my game, just like I'm sure you've had to try to enhance your speed. There are different, things that you have to tweak about your start, based on who you're racing. That's what I tried to do every year because, again, I wasn't really known for my speed. So when you talk about being a game changer, a playmaker, every year, as you said, it's like those 1 to 2 year increments. Like I didn't have a long-term goal of playing in the NFL for 10 plus 15 years. I took it one year at a time and then one off season at a time that enabled me to be able to be the Hall of Famer that I am today. So I appreciate those kinds of words. Someone like Hatch over here, he can't really understand or grasp that. So we get it. We right here.
Hey, you see what I'm saying, JG? Don't even trip on him. Don't even trip.
Hey man, you say you could. What can you run a 40 in right now?
Oh, I you know what? To be honest with you, my hip is so bad I wouldn't be able to finish a 40. Like if I could get out to you.
I wasn't even out talking to you. Why would I want to know what your 40 is right now?
I'm letting JG know.
I want to know what your 40 is, bro. I want to know what your 40
I knew JG wanted. I was talking to JG. I wasn't even talking to you.
Okay.
All right. So for me, if I can run a 40 right now, I'll say I'm in the 4.2 range. Man. I'm in the 4.2.
Oh, I'm close to 4.2. I would say I'm 4. I could do a 4.3, 4.4.
No, you cannot. You cannot run under 4.5 right now. And I tell you, so JG, he goes
bet your money.
So he just put his mouth, because again, he's coming off of an ACL injury. He's been working out, so he's feeling good about himself, but he hasn't been running like that, right? So 2 years ago, when he was old, but he was still running a legit 4.48, 4.49 for 43, 42 years old. That was great. But his has gotten 44. Older, and he's just coming off of surgery. There's no way he's going to run a 4.4 anything right now.
Dude, I guarantee you I can run under 4.5.
I'll take that bet.
Whenever you do, and I want my money, bro. Because
wait.
I want my money, bro.
We all.
You are hesitant to pay up when you lose. You already
tell you what.
You already owe me
one
bet.
Hey, JG. So listen, we had this exact same bet almost 2 years ago. And I won because it said 4-5-0-1 on the clock. So I won the bet.
Hey, and guess what I would? Hey, Justin, and to my defense, I lost and I paid up like a gentleman should. I did this coming off of a plane too. Off the plane.
That don't mean nothing. I ain't trying to hear
Justin,
all that.
Tell this dude.
I don't know. That means something, man.
Dude, tell this dude.
Hey, JG, he went from Burbank to Diego. That wasn't no flight.
I was on a flight and I got from the flight, went straight down there, straight to the track, and I ran that 4.51. And like I said, barely any stretching, no nothing. But right after that, I think, was it a year? Was that the same year? A year after, I just ran a 4.45.
A year after,
4.44 and a 4.45 at UCLA.
I would want to see this though. I think I got my money on you, bro.
Hey, Justin, how far you think you
would
probably beat
Hey, JG,
beat
I'll take your money too. I'll bet you too, JG.
Yeah, in a 40. I know you got to do training, so you wouldn't really want to race me, but I think it would be good for a charity situation, especially with what we got going on right now. I think the only charity would be you, because he's gonna have to jog to make it look close. There's no way that
first of all, it's even close.
First of all, he ain't finna jog. You're not.
Yeah, he's gonna jog. He's going to jog and do nothing. See what I'm saying, JG? Now he's delusional. He's delusional.
I'm not gonna disrespect my man, who's the 5-time Olympic medalist, record 5-time 100-meter world champion medalist. I'm not gonna disrespect my guy, but he ain't finna just blow my doors off.
Yes, he is. That's what he would do.
I think we should do this for charity, though. I think we should do this. We should do this.
Boy, I like you, Justin. I like you. And guess what? I came up with a creative way to do this in light of what's going on in the wake of all this racism stuff that's going on and police brutality and social injustice. I think we should donate the money to one of those causes, and we should call it this right here: Erase Racism. You see how I did that?
Look at that. I see that.
You see how I did that? Hey,
I like that.
I'm the brains behind this operation.
So,
just let you know.
No, you're okay, but here, but JG, listen to how he's not.
That's the intelligence I was talking about. That's the intelligence I was talking about.
But listen, JG, this is how intelligent he is not. He fails to realize that they can't see him. This is also an audio podcast, so for him to put it up there, the visual me and you got, but he also has to explain how it's spelled so the audio audience can hear you.
We didn't get there yet. He was pitching it to me, so I'm on board
right,
now.
I'm pitching
so go ahead and let
the
audience know.
Right, but we do have a YouTube aspect to this. It's just not audio.
So explain your erase. Explain it to the audio version.
So for the people that are listening out there, it's called erase racism.
And how do you spell that, T?
And erase is spelled ERACE, race.
So we could probably put an E and then the dash and then the race. Yeah,
right.
I like it. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, T.
So let me introduce it for the audience that's listening. We're talking about doing I don't know, a 40, 100 yard. He'll tear me up in the 100. I already know. He'll tear me up in the 100.
Let's do 40. We do 40.
Yeah, we'll do a 40.
We're talking about donating.
Yeah, that's a football race, right? That's a football race.
So we're talking about donating some money to charity, obviously, in the wake of all this racism. Things that are going on in this country, police brutality, social injustice. All of us are Black men. I know we have Black families, Black kids. This is obviously something dear to all of us on this show. So again, for the people that are listening, Erase Racism Charity with me and Justin Gatlin in a 40-yard dash. And erase is spelled, again, for the ones that are listening, ERACE, racism.
Trademark.
There it is.
We're gonna do this.
Yes, sir. Get your popcorn ready podcast with your guest, right? Justin Gatlin. So again, I know we're talking a little bit about what's been going on, right? So deep, so crazy times right now, and of course, as Black men in this country, we've been going through this for your whole life, my whole life, T's whole life. But everybody else is kind of just getting the picture. What have some of the things you've been doing lately to really just stay positive throughout this movement?
For me, I think, obviously with the COVID situation, just training, figuring out creative ways to train when I couldn't go outside. Once we get able to get back in the gym, we locked the gym down for only us athletes to be able to use, sanitize everything every time we get on the machine and stuff like that. But for me, when it comes to reaching out to young athletes in the COVID situation and Black Lives Matter is basically having them understand that sometimes having adversity can have growth that happens with it. We don't want everything handed to us. Sometimes you have to test your will, you have to test your faith. And right now, being locked down in quarantine for a lot of athletes and having the season canceled, they're kind of trying to figure out who they are. Because, as athletes, we always feel like our world is a sport. That's all we know.
That's how our seasons go.
Exactly. So I always challenge a group of athletes, and I get on Zoom calls and Skype calls for like the last, almost a month, man, and talk to group athletes from 5 years old all the way up to 18, all the way to college. And I challenge them to learn a different craft. I challenge them to figure out their own body. I challenge them to learn different athletes within their sport that they've never heard of before, either past, or present. And for young Black athletes, I have challenged them to go out and be not just athletes, but someone who's going to be a figurehead in the community, because as athletes, we have a platform that once had Malcolm X or Martin Luther King or Marcus Garvey. Those guys have a platform that we have now. And as athletes, we need to be able to speak or even show the world, the masses, and our race and our young future how powerful we can be, not just dribbling a basketball or making a touchdown or come across the finish line. We want to be able to empower them, not only be professional athletes, but be real good human beings and be really proud of who they are being Black.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any? Go ahead, T.
Obviously, like I said, just to touch on a little bit of that. Have you experienced any racism or any discrimination? Coming up through the ranks of running, racing. I know you went to Tennessee, right? Am I? Yeah, correct. And so. So can you share, if any, of any experiences like that? And going forward, has any of those experiences shaped you to be who you are? And then now, like I said, being in the thick and the height of where we are as a country, will you be able to kind of use some of those experiences? And I think you just mentioned that you alluded to a little bit of that, really progressing our younger youth to be better people in the future.
Well, for me, I mean, you always experience some kind of racism, even if you ain't being called the N word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're getting denied some way. You're getting the short end of the stick, and I've had that a lot throughout my career. You know, so from college, you know, traveling through the SEC, you know that is. We going to Mississippi State, Ole Miss. You know, the Bible Belt. You're always going to find some way where you're going to be discriminated against, even in this day and age. But on the flip side, as I became older and an athlete who's a veteran now, I remember a time I got pulled over and I had my concealed weapons license on me. And when I got pulled over, the officer can see the license in my wallet. Mm-hmm. And he asked me, he said, well, where's your gun at? Do you have a gun on you? And I said, yeah, I have my gun. It's right here. I showed him my gun. He said, well, where's the clip? I said, my clip is over here. So gun's over here, clip's over here. And he looked at me, he laughed. Young white officer, he looked at me and laughed and said, well, why you have them so far apart? And I looked at him and I said, this is 2:00 in the morning. I said, officer, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm a young black man and I'm driving a nice car and getting pulled over. You know, I don't want to pose a threat to anybody, not to you or anybody that's gonna come in contact with me because of the color of my skin. That's not my choice, but I have to protect who I am as a young black man. So I have to be able to show that my clip is here, my gun is here, and I'm not a threat, you know? And he looked at me and he looked at me and he pondered for a minute. He was like, wow. And he said, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. You have a good night, slow down, and get home safe.
Awesome.
Wow, bro. You just gave me chills, bro. That gave me chills, bro, just hearing that. And I have kids. Hatch doesn't have kids, and I've kind of had these conversations, you know, with my daughters who's on the cusp of driving. I have a son, 20-year-old. He's driving now. And it's so weird that we have to educate our black kids on what to do when we get pulled over. And I think the question has been, you know, I guess the repeated question is, you know, throughout this whole pandemic and now this racism pandemic that we've been facing is, you know, how can we educate, you know, more of the white people about what we have to go through? And I think part of what you mentioned and what I'm trying to get across is we as black people, parents, we have to educate our kids on what to do when pulled over. I think it's the white people's, it's their duty to educate their kids on black history, love, how to treat one another outside of their race. And I think this world will begin to be in a better place because I think just as we're having to educate and take the time to educate our kids on some of the things that we have to go through as black people, I think they need to take those initiatives to teach their kids about black history and black people in general.
Yeah. And again, I want to touch on, like I said, ran in the SEC, and like I said, going to Ole Miss and, you know, Alabama, that was different for you. And it's crazy how nowadays, I want to touch on my boy, Michael Pittman, right? He was a receiver, just got drafted by the Indianapolis Colts, played for USC. And, you know, when you're in college, you're doing all these things with these boosters, right? The boosters love you guys when you're playing. And Michael Pittman, you know, they loved him. USC, big name, was going to the NFL. And Marla Brown was a big USC booster and had Michael Pittman with her on her Twitter handle. So that was her background picture. And she made a bunch of racist remarks on her Twitter. And of course, now since then she's taken it down. But it speaks to the fact, like, yeah, you guys love us when you can use us. You know, when we're catching touchdowns or we're not a threat physically because we're on the field, literally on the field, they're benefiting. But when it becomes real, right? Marla Brown, she showed her true colors. She doesn't like anything that the culture has nothing about the black culture
has to offer, and of course,
nothing at all. But you used that when it benefited you at these, you know, functions, or, you know, when it was, you know, at the game, when it was cool for your Twitter handle. And so I wanted to see if you could speak on that. When you were running, did you see any of those things, like at University of Tennessee, like? They love you when you were running, but when you left Tennessee, how did they treat you? Like, how that city treat you? How that university treat you? And like I said, I want to speak on that a little bit.
You know, funny is that I've always been treated good, you know, at Knoxville. Knoxville, and you think about the area, the region and everything, you would think different, you know. But for me, I've always was treated good. I actually went back not too long ago, and I was still welcomed with open arms and love and support, you know. And but at the end of the day, I know exactly where you're coming from, because athletes are treated not as human beings, we're treated as a persona. They don't care where we were raised. They don't care where we grew up at. They don't care how hard your upbringing was. All they care about is if you're making those touchdowns for their team that they're cheering for, or you're making those goals for their team that they're cheering for. That's all they care about. And then when you stop, then that's when they stop caring, you know? And I always tell everybody all the time, I was like, you got to understand that athletes aren't robots. You know what I mean?
Right.
We are people too.
Yes.
It's just that we have extraordinary talents to be able to show the world, but they think that we go into a closet, shut off like a robot, and we turn that off again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No heart, no feelings.
Right. I try to, sorry about that. I try to explain it because people often ask, I mean, I'm sure Hatch gets asked the question. I'm sure you get asked the question too, like what it's like being an athlete, especially whether you're dealing with somebody professional or you're dealing with somebody in your personal life. And so obviously, as you said, our persona, I think it precedes us when we come in contact with anybody in the business world, or like I said, in our in our personal lives on our own time. And I always tell people, like you just said, we're just ordinary people. We just happen to do extraordinary things in our profession. And as me and Hatch, we played football. For you, you run, you race, you beat people to the finish line for a living. And again, you have you have a stage bigger than me and Hatch could ever be on.
World stage.
Right. Representing not only just yourself, obviously what comes with that, your college, you're representing Tennessee, but at the same time, you're representing the United States of America. You're representing our country. And speaking on that, what is, now that the Olympics have been postponed to 2021, what has been your preparation like leading up to that? I know you touched on it a little bit, but now, like I said, does that mess with your mental psyche? Because I know now a lot of you guys, not only just you guys were prepared to run. It's probably like here in the next couple of months this year.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I was ready. Because the moment where we found out we couldn't travel, we was already a week away from traveling, right? To go to meets and everything. So we already got our conditioning in, we got our speed endurance in, we started working on our speed, so we was ready to run. I was ready to clock 9.796. I was ready. I was ready. You understand what I'm saying? Because one thing I learned about you guys is that, especially T, is that I watched you as you came through your career, and everything you did, no matter what people want to call it antics, you were owning who you were. You know what I mean? And you was a creator of your own destiny. Popcorn, Sharpies, Stand on Star, whatever it was, you made history by being you. You know what I mean? And that kind of, and for me, I've been fighting with how I'm going to end my career. You know what I mean? And I know it's a scary thing. For me, it's scary because it's like, what do I do next? And watching those highlight tapes, rewatching those football tapes and things like that, because that energy you guys bring on the field, that's what I bring to the track. That's why everybody be like, man, he's so aggressive. I was like, well, you know what? I only got 9 seconds to prove myself. That's it. I don't get 4 quarters. I don't get 2 halves. I get 9 seconds. So going into this season, like I was ready to go. And I still kept the intensity up, and I still train. We still train like survivalists, man. We were out there running on patches of grass where it was like retention ponds, and we were jumping over fences to get in into locked areas to run on the track and stuff. Like we were doing whatever we can because we knew we had to salvage a season, because we're gonna have a season towards the end of the year. So by any means necessary, we got the work done. So I'm in shape now. I'm ready to go.
Now, since again, so 2021, that's 11, 12 months-ish for you when you can run again. Someone your age, is that going to hurt you or help you more, give you more rest? Or did you think that you're kind of maxing out in 2020? Would that hurt?
Right, because Right. And to his point, you'll be 39, correct, next year, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. I don't think it's gonna hurt me, to be honest. I mean, from long as I keep healthy and I keep strong, it's all about a lot about muscle memory and running my pace and striking when I need to strike. I don't need to win every race when I step out there. I would love to, you know what I mean?
Right.
But what I learned is when you get to the top, it's about winning the most important race. No one's going to remember what race you did in March compared to what you crossed the finish line at the Olympics. You know what I mean? So
it's like the Super Bowl for us.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers what goes on during the course of the season.
Long as
season.
Exactly.
Playoffs.
You can catch every catch all season. You miss one catch in the Super Bowl, you're a failure. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just that's what it is, man. It's just about being ready at the moment. And if it's 2020, 2021, I'll be ready for it. You know, I just got to make sure I stay on top of remembering that I'm a seasoned veteran and taking my time and strike when the iron's hot.
Mm-hmm. What do you eat? How do you stay? Are you like everything vegan? How do you stay ready? Like I said, physically.
Boy, hell no. I would. You know what? I would try being vegan if I could, but I burn so much energy. We already talked about it. This Florida sun, it's 90-something degrees, and you burn all them calories all day. You're gonna get dizzy, tired, dehydrated. So I make sure.
Would you say you eat right though?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I make sure I eat portion control, and I eat small meals throughout the day. You know what I mean? So it keeps me at a good weight.
What's for just say like the important race you just mentioned? What would be your ideal meal leading up to the important race? Because that's like I said, on the biggest stage. Because my plans, one of my bucket list things was to go to the Olympics. So I was equally looking forward to going to the Olympics this year. So obviously I'm going to put my bucket list on the shelf just like everybody else. But I honestly, I plan because I've never been.
You mean to go watch as a spectator, not be in it? Let's clear it up. Let's clear it up, people.
I'm not talking to you.
We're going to put a marker down, a cone down for the 40 yards for him, right?
Yeah, I'm not talking to that guy, right? I'm not talking to him. But yeah, what is because like I said, I mean, it's the important race. So you want to make sure that everything, like you said, everything is clicking on all cylinders as it comes to the performance part. But preparation wise, what is a typical meal like leading up to that most important race?
Oh man, I mean, it could be. I'm big on protein, so like in the morning, I'll get up extra early in the morning. Like it's because usually we race at night when we're overseas, right? So if you do nighttime overseas, it means it's still daytime in America. So I really don't change that much about how my sleep pattern, right? Because I'm up during the day here, so I might as well be up at night over there, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'll in the morning, like maybe 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake myself up. I have a protein shake. I'll go back to sleep. It'll help me sleep better. And then I wake up, usually skip breakfast, go straight to lunch. And then that'll be like chicken or steak and some kind of like cooked greens of some sort or salad, and then some fruits. And then before I head to the track, I'll, which is about maybe like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I'll eat like maybe a granola bar, 2 granola bars, and I'll head to the track, man, because I don't like to feel full. You know what I mean? I don't like to feel like I'm heavy or lethargic from eating pasta and stuff like that. So I try to keep it light.
Okay. Now, so when you race, right, in Olympics, so you race a thing, and then you wait like 3 or 4 days, then you're going to race again. So do you keep that diet going straight through while you're over there? Or do you like after that one race, like you kind of just go get Cinnabon and McDonald's and you cool for a day, or or do you just continue that diet all the way through?
Listen, hey, McDonald's overseas is a lifeline sometimes. Sometimes you might be eating
there it is. Yeah. So, got to do it.
But yeah, I kind of trim down when it's time to race, and I stay disciplined when it's time to race. And then afterwards, you celebrate, go get you some big fries or a Big Mac or something like that. Y'all chill out, have a good time, eat a pizza or something like that. So yeah. Nice.
I want to touch on. I want to go back to that wind aided. What was it? 942.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that about? Why are they not giving you the record? on that? What was that? What's that story behind that?
Because what you just said is wind aided.
But you still ran it though. I was like, whose legs can even go that fast? Is what you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so if I run my 4.4 and I'm running with the wind, are you gonna pay me my money or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you money because you ain't gonna run it. You could be running. I don't care about you running.
I just wanted to be sure. I just wanted to be sure because you're gonna pay my money.
Yeah, whatever.
But go ahead.
Yeah.
So question. Yeah, what's up with the wind? What is the wind? Was it the 160?
It was 100. It was 100.
Oh, it was 100 meters. It was just an experiment they did in Japan. Japan has these wacky, crazy TV shows that they want to try different things. And my segment was seeing how fast a human can run with a big, huge fan behind him and a couple of fans all going all the way down the track to push me along wind-aided wise. So, man, it was crazy. It was like them fan boats you see in the swamp, like those big fan boats.
Yeah.
So that was behind me in the starting blocks. So once I got off the block, I got faster than I ever did in my life. So
could you feel it? Could you feel your speed?
100%. I had 2 attempts, and the first time I ran like 9.61 or something like that. So they wanted to break the world record was 9.5. So I went and ran again. I gave it full effort without stopping, and I ran 9.4. So yeah, it was.
Wow. Hey, you couldn't beat me wind-aided.
I think I can run faster than that because back then when I did that, I was overweight. I was like 200 pounds, man. I was chunky, bro.
What's your race weight? What is your race weight? Ideal race weight for you to maximize?
176 to 180, depending.
And where are you right now?
I'm 182.
Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously you got like almost a year to kind of really get down to that. But I just always wanted to kind of, know what it's like to kind of like, get your weight down. Because as football players, some people don't even think that factors in. But obviously that factors into your performance, your maximum output, things of that nature.
100%, man. Because when you you won't fatigue quicker. You don't have to worry about lactic acid as much. You're gonna have strength to weight ratio, which is you're gonna be strong like if you was 200 pounds, but you're gonna be light. You're gonna be 180, 170. So you're gonna be killing it. So my walk around weight is like between 196 and 198 to 200. So I had to drop a lot of weight to get to where I'm at.
Wow. How much you weigh right now, T? Fat boy? How much you weigh?
I think I'm around like 214 ish.
Fat
around
boy.
like somewhere. Yeah, I'm light. Anywhere from like 212, 214, but I'm light. And like I said, but now, like I said,
you're light and slow.
But that's all right. That's all right. I cannot
what was
wait.
your weight when you played? How much did you weigh when you played?
No more than 223. It's so crazy. Some teams have weigh-ins, and I swear to God, this is no lie. When I played with the 90s, last part of my career, we had weigh-ins, and literally I would come in and I would weigh 222 on the dot. It didn't matter what day, what week, whatever. I would weigh in at 222. So I know sometimes on some of my football cards it say 225, 226. I never weighed over 225. Never weighed over 225. I just felt big and heavy, but I was muscular back then. And then as my career, extended a little bit, like my last probably few years, I leaned out a little bit. So I would honestly, I got faster later on in my career than I did early on in my career.
Because you were leaning out, so you could. I was like a 6'3", 210 to 212 guy, and like T saw me, and he tried to lean out and get like my body type. That was his goal.
Hey, first of all,
you know what I'm saying, JG? That's my man's goal.
Use the music.
You say you were like what? 185 to 210, Hatch?
No, 210 to 212.
Oh, that's you. Maybe you should have been like about 185. Then you would have probably had a stellar career.
I did have a stellar career, fat boy.
Hey, but I want to touch on something, and I don't want to spend too much time on. But I know you were explaining, how you had to, you touched on like you had a certain time to prove, you're the fastest, and that's like whatever under 10 seconds. But I don't want to go too far in depth with it. But I know obviously you had some issues with being banned from the Olympics. what has it done for you mentally, and what has it done for you, I guess, overall, to regain the public's trust of who you are as far as being a track runner and you doing it the right way? Because I know there was a recent show with Lance Armstrong, a document about his doping and how that was with cycling and what have you. So I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I thought it would be fair if you kind of just touched on just a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, being away from the sport for like for 4 years, almost half a decade, I wasn't getting paid. I wasn't getting no money. I was just living off the earnings that I had. You know what I mean? The blessings that my mom is financially intelligent to be able to make sure I was secure and stable for almost half a decade. In that time away from the sport, that's when I ventured into football, or I started doing volunteer coaching and track, helping kids get to college, get scholarships for track in the different schools that they wanted to go to. For me, man, T, I ain't gonna lie, man, it was an eye-opening experience right now, if I had to say it and describe it right now. I went through every state of emotion that you can think of. I went through denial. I partied almost every night. That's when I got up to about 210, 215, just for drinking liquor and alcohol, partying all the time.
Wow.
I remember a couple times driving drunk. I couldn't even see in front of me because it was back to what I was saying to you, Hatch. Like, as athletes, that's all we think about is our sport. So literally when everything happened to me, it was like this. Everything was gone. So I was just this guy just sitting here like, all right, what do I do now? And I got my first contract at like age 20. You know what I mean? So I didn't know nothing about being no man, you know? Right. But along the way, I knew I was about to hit rock bottom for all the drinking and the partying and everything like that. So I had to get myself together. I had to find something for me to do and be successful like I know I was designed to be, you know? And that's why I mentioned football. And then my other point that I'm reaching back to is when I had the opportunity to go back into track, I told myself, I was like, why go into a sport where I'm already going to be behind the 8 ball, meaning football, and people are going to say, okay, you're a track runner, you can't really play football. I should fight for what I believe in, which is I'm a king in the sport of track and field. That I made my way back into the sport. It made quarantine a breeze because I've been sitting for 4 years. I was sitting at home. I wasn't doing much of nothing, man. And I went through depression. I remember going through depression, and it was a dark time for me because my heart hurt so bad, man. Like to the point where I didn't want to take my life, but I didn't think my life was worth nothing. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I was like, man, if I drive my car right now and I wrap my car on this tree up here, even by accident, who's gonna miss me? That's how I felt.
Yeah.
So I had to realize that I had people who wanted to see me do well, who wanted to see me come back, who loved me and cared for me, and I had to take myself out of the equation to really think about their emotions and feelings if they never saw me ever again in life. So that's where my build-up to come back was. So I hustled my way back, clawed back up to the top. And I guess, T, to ask your question, how did I be able to win people over? It wasn't really about winning anybody over anymore. It was about showing the world that regardless of what you do to me and you set me back or you feel like I did something wrong, I came back into a sport which wasn't showing me any love. And I started winning races and I started beating top name athletes. And the proof was in the pudding. So from that point on, it was like, I think that I gained more respect because of my adversity and fighting than I did fanfare because I was just a fast guy, you know?
Absolutely.
With those races that that's on that comeback. So I like what you're saying. You basically, it's just like so cliche. And one of those statements that people use, you use your setback for a greater comeback. And what I really realized about your story here is that you were very self-aware of who you were and who you are and who you wanted to become and be more so than where you were at that particular time. When you started to win these races, did that increase, I guess, the committee to implement more drug testing for you as you started to start your journey back on getting back on track to where you once were?
Yeah, of course. In 2014, 15, I was the most drug tested athlete in all sports.
Wow.
So I got tested 78 times.
Like once a week?
How many times?
78 times.
78 times in a year.
In a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot.
So this is what I did back.
You probably got
back
tired
in 2011. And I slowly made a comeback. I got on the Olympic podium in 2012, the next year. And in 13, I came behind Usain Bolt in the World Championships in the 100 meters. And in 14 was an off year, but I didn't lose no races that year. I was undefeated. Wow. And I beat Usain Bolt as well.
Yeah.
15, I just went buck wild, started running a whole bunch of 9.7s, 19.5s. And I think what happens is, because people in my situation, how you spoke about Lance and all of them, is once you are in a situation, you get popped, right? You the proof is in the pudding, and they always say, well, this is what he used to get better or be better than everybody else. So now he comes back, he's not as good as he was before. My whole goal was to come back and show the world I'm better than what you thought I was.
Absolutely.
And that's what I did. I came back running faster, came back being stronger, and I came back being more disciplined because I knew I had to be, because my life was on the line, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. The microscope is on you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead and show the world that I am that guy. Well, again, I want to commend your transition, not your honesty, but you're transitioning through that process. As you know, it's not easy. You went through it, but again, when you get done with your whole track career, it's going to be similar, but you've already went through it once. I'm sure you'll be fine when you find something that once you retire from that sport as well. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I want to commend you on your character and integrity, and from who you become over this process.
Yeah, I have a question about the female racer or track runner that went through something similar, but she never was able to regain, and that's Marion Jones. Why do you think that was? Why do you think that was so? Was it because she didn't have that dedication, that willpower, or do you think she relied heavily on the performance enhancing drugs to become who she became? Because I think, she had that rise and then that fall from grace. And I think she wanted to come back, and then she tried to dabble too. She tried to get into basketball to try to regain that sense of being somebody, that an outlet. So again, you had that 4 years to kind of think about what you wanted to do. You had the ups and downs. Like I said, you had those roller coaster of emotions where, it was depression. What do you think it was with Marion Jones? If you could share some words.
I don't know her personally. I met her a couple of times in passing. Okay. But I think that if I had to kind of understand her viewpoint, you imagine when she went, everything she went through, she was already on top of the world. She was more popular than a lot of male athletes. True. You know what I mean? Not just track, but in sports, period. True. She was very marketable. And I think that when everything happened to her, I think that she just was lined up with the wrong people. And I think once she tried to regain her footing, it's hard, T. Like, everyone recognizes who you are. You can't go out in the street without people saying, oh, that's Marion Jones, or she did this, this, and this. You know what I mean? I felt that. I felt a huge cloud of embarrassment over me, or shame over me. And that, to this day, it kind of is there. I understand who I am as a person. Right. What I mean? But I think for her, it was just never able to get that real good footing of being able to come back. You know what I mean? Right. I think she's fast, legitimately fast. I don't think she used drugs to be fast. I think that if she used drugs, she used it to be faster and to
stay on top.
Her legacy. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a tragic situation, because you view the athlete, but you don't realize there's a lot of the players that's on the board that have pushed athletes to be in that position. You know what I mean? And none of them are accountable. You know what I mean? So it's a hard situation. I mean, you being a mother, you being the world's fastest woman, you being an advocate for whatever foundation she was for. Those are all things that came crumbling down. And then on top of that, the little check fraud situation that kind of put her in the drug situation. So you dealing with the FBI, that's a lot of stuff on top of it.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's again, sports, people forget the sports is there's one side, the physical side of it, but that mental side of sports, man, once they start messing with that mental and you can't focus like everybody else is focusing, it's hard. It's difficult, man.
It is, and that's how it was in 17 for me when I lined up. It was Usain's last race. And I tell you, as many cheers that he got, I got equal as many boos in the stadium. The stadium was rocking with boos. It was thundering with boos, you know?
Wow.
I still was able to come out on top because I believe in who I am. I was mentally tough enough to be able to come across the line first.
Absolutely. I know what it's like to kind of be
to be booed. You mean you've been booed, T?
Oh, absolutely.
You been booed, bro?
Oh, bro.
Right.
I like it. Hey, I turned those boos into boo-hoos for them. Because, like I said, you just
motivation. Yeah, motivation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. You gonna make them eat those words, you know?
Absolutely.
What? Yeah. Absolutely. Do you think you was booed because you was on the opposing team, or do you think you was booed because of who you was as an athlete?
Probably a little bit of both, because I was one of those guys. Some people say I was a trendsetter. I kind of went to the own beat of my own drum. You know what I mean? I wasn't one of those guys that conformed, but I wasn't insubordinate. You know what I mean? I was a very coachable player, but I think the way the media portrayed me, that's who they thought I was. They never really got a chance to know who I was off the field. So again, the media is very powerful, and they painted that picture that I was this selfish, I was this arrogant guy, that I was this cocky guy. But when I played, when I performed, I played not only for myself, but my teammates and my organization. So I did whatever I did within the confines of the rules. And again, it worked for me. And I didn't know at that time I was establishing a brand for myself. I was becoming
you were the boo brand.
Exactly. That works. Whatever works.
And they love to hate you, but they wanted to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever get booed at home, T? In a home game? I don't remember you ever getting booed at a home game.
No, my skills never got to the point. They never eroded me to that bad to my own team. Like when you start getting booed by your own team, that hurts.
Yeah, because it's like you want to be big enough to get booed in your when you're on the road. And I remember Kobe. I think when he had that case in Denver, so Denver hated him, of course.
Right.
And the next year when he went to Denver, there were a bunch of Kobe Buster T-shirts they were selling outside the arena. And of course, now inside the arena, there all those shirts, like 20,000 people had these shirts. And go back to find out, Kobe's company made those shirts. So he already knew, like you said, when you went on the road, T, they go boo you, but you would welcome it and give them something to go ahead and
yeah, you have to embrace that. And then, like I said, man, I can't imagine, like I said, to race one of the top of the fastest guy. Yeah, the fastest guy in the world, and Usain Bolt. What is that speed like? I mean, for us, it just doesn't seem right. And I know, like for me, I can understand it because I'm a long strider as well. And I know when he's there, like, dude, what is it? Is it a combination of just pure speed or size, or it's just obviously his length that enables him to make it? It looks like he's jogging when everybody else. You have that rail, like it looks like you guys are just like, I mean, like a car.
But JG ain't small. Well, JG, you 6'1". That's not short. And usually like 5'7", 5'8", 5'9". You see like people's feet going real fast because of turnover. But when you over 6 foot and you have a quick turnover like that, you doing something.
I mean, for him, T, all of that, bro. All the things you said, stride lengths, his speed, his turnover. All that goes into making Usain uniquely who he is, man, to be honest. I mean, if you watch his races, he don't even overstride. He runs like he's 5'7". You know what I mean?
Right.
Really 6'5", So he learned, I guess he found the loophole, man. He found the hack. You know what I mean? Just to being a tall guy, you don't got to run with long strides and run slow. Like he was able to work on his turnover, and that was the key for him.
Why do you think he left the sport? Because I think the way he was winning races, he could have kept going. Do you think he just got tired? Is it the training? Because again, I think he could have ran another Olympic or so.
I know, man, but when you deal with an individual sport like track or tennis or something like that, like you are all you have. You know what I mean? Like you can have a bad game or you know what I mean? And you might not be playing at 100%, but your team is going to rally around you, help you out. You know what I'm saying? When you get out there and you not feeling 100%, you get into a race, you commit to the race, and then you get your doors blown off, you get beat. You know what I mean? Like, and at the same time, he's done everything at least 2 times over. You know what I mean? Right. So his motivation I don't think really wasn't there anymore to be able to say, okay, how many more Olympics I want to win, or how many more records I want to break. You know, so
nothing else to prove, I suppose. Nothing else to prove.
Exactly. 30 years old, money that so much money can't he probably even count that. He's going to live life now. He doesn't like to train either. So he's a hard trainer, but he doesn't like to train.
Right.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, Olympic champion Justin Gatlin on Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast. We appreciate you coming on, JG, sharing us some knowledge, man, opening up with us. We appreciate you. We really do, man. Commend you. Continue that character building. You know, as far as getting ready for next year, that's a whole nother thing. But again, you'll be all right. You'll go through the process.
I appreciate it.
One more. And absolutely. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, whenever you're ready, let me know when you want to get that race going.
No, for real. Like,
already.
Trust me. Give me, I've been lifting. I've been training. I would say in the next 4 to 5 months, I would definitely be ready. I promise you, man, I'm telling you, I've been training. I've been doing more leg lifts and things on my lower extremity than I have since I left the game. Probably like 8-9 years. And I've been rejuvenated to the point to like now, I guarantee you, I would probably be faster because of the leg strength that I've had, I've gained. Because 2 to 3 years ago when I ran, my muscle, my legs had atrophied. And because, every year after you stop playing, there's a percentage of your body, your muscle mass atrophies. And now I'm back to where I was when I was playing. So that's why I feel confident in myself to be able to run. Like I said, especially get this guy's money. Oh, I'm going to get it.
Hey, I tell you what, let's make it interesting. JG, why don't you run a 45 and T run a 40?
Let's do it then.
I think that could be a legit race. Because because a 40 versus a 40, T, I know what you're saying, but get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something. If I get out on this cat, bro,
you will still lose by 5 yards. I get it.
He's not going to beat me by 5 yards. Kill yourself.
If he wants to run a 4-1,
if he can try me, he can try me if he want to. If he can try me if he want to, I'm gonna let you know, boy. I'm gonna show you Hatch. I love you, boy.
Matter of fact, you ain't JG. He ain't hyping nobody up but himself. This is all for himself right now. This ain't got nothing to do with.
All right, okay. I'm gonna show you guys. Hey, but we want to thank our guy Justin Gatlin, man. Appreciate you coming on to Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast, man. This was exciting to me. When I got the text message that you would have, wanted to come on the show, I was like, man. Absolutely. Because man, all I saw was like, I just visualized the Olympics. You know what I mean? Because like I said, that's on my bucket list. Trust me, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be some way, somehow, shape. I'm going to be there in the house. I'm going to be here.
2021 Tokyo Olympics, Justin Gatlin. Now I got you, just 959. 2021, 959. I put it out there for you. Man, you gonna get that?
I'm gonna run a 981. 981.
The world's gonna turn Hatch. The world gonna turn upside down. If I'm 39 years old and I run 959, boy.
Hey, the world. Go shock the world, JG. Go shock the world.
Yeah, you gonna run it and expect to get drug tested immediately after.
Before I cross the finish line.
Immediately.
What? Hey, but I'm gonna be right there, man. Hey, trust me, man. All the best to you, man. Stay on par with your training, man. I know you will. I know you got a lot of great people behind you. I'm rooting for you. America's going to be rooting for you, man. I like it, man. Going to be 39. Especially, I like when people push the envelope. There's not many of guys out there that are pushing that envelope, man. And I appreciate what you've done throughout the course of your career. Like I said, you're a guy, a man of faith, and you're very self-aware. Appreciate you coming on the show, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
My man, Justin Gatlin in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Get your Popcorn Ready podcast. Find us on the Himalaya app, wherever you get your podcasts.
No doubt, man. All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
My man. All right. Oh man, Justin Gatlin, ladies and gentlemen, the super fast 9.45 he ran, wind aided.
Ooh, that's crazy.
That's crazy, right? But again, it said great guest, good character. I love how he opened up, right? Went through some things here and there. But at the same time, it's like I want everybody what our show is about. Like I said, most of the people that you guys see on TV and your favorite athletes, they go through stuff. Right. It's just part of this life. They're not just going on. You don't just turn on your TV and then watch them play a game and then their life is over. Like, no, they got real things going on behind the scenes. And I appreciate Justin Gatlin coming on the show today and opening up with us a little bit.
Oh yeah, human. That definitely displayed and expressed that human side of him, and that's been the nature of every great athlete. They're all going to have those ebb and flows, those ups and downs to their career. Some rebound from it, some don't. But I like the aspect of our guest that he kept going and he ran through the tape, and he's where he is for a reason.
Absolutely. And that brings us to our 3 and Out segment, where we like to bring up 3 things that we found interesting about the podcast show today. I think number 1 for me, again, people thinking, oh, he's fast or he's big and he's strong and he's athletic. Just go throw him out there and he can become an NFL football player. This dude ran a 4.12 in the 40. And he said his main thing of not being able to, have an NFL career is because of the playbook. So it goes back to the mental approach of the sport, not the physical. Again, I keep telling you guys that a lot of people can be physically fit and physically ready to play professional sports. But if you don't have that mental aptitude to learn the playbook in a short period of time, how he said it was 10 plays and the next day he had another 10, next day he had another 10. That's what you have to go through during training camp.
Yeah. I think, the next one that really, I think just him shedding light on his first trap. I don't know if it's first traffic stop, but being stopped by the cops.
Oh, in Tennessee.
And him sharing that story, and then the officer realizing that he had a concealed weapon in the car, and obviously the officer asked him where was it, and he basically explained to him that his gun was over here and the clip was over here. And the cop asked him, like, well, why is your clip and your gun in 2 different places? And I like his explanation of it, and where we are as a country right now. And speaking on racism, being Black in America, again, that's one of the issues of us, really, what we fear for our lives, being Black in America. And I know I've been stopped by the cops a number of times. And I know what it's like to kind of feel what it's like to have white privilege. But then I know at the same breath, I know what it's like to be a Black man in an instant as well. Because you're not going to always have a cop to pull you over that recognize your name and recognize your name or know who you are. So an instant, and then you have those, again, they may know who you are because of sports or what have you. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because if somebody comes up, approaches you with the wrong mindset, you're one mistake, one hand movement away of being a dead man. So I appreciate him shedding light on that story of why he had those 2 parts of the gun, pieces of his gun in 2 different areas. It was very, very enlightening.
Well, the amazing part about that story is that was 20 years ago. 2000, 2001-ish. Like, that's 20 years ago. And we're now today with the climate of the nation right now, we're going through the exact same thing. So,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the third thing on the 3 and Out was when he got banned from the sport. And again, we talk a lot with a lot of our guests. We've already talked about transitioning to your next thing. And he said it, like, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to give up on what he thought he was on this earth to do. Like, he was depressed, started drinking, started partying, doing all these things because for the first time in his life, he lost his identity of being that track guy or the track guy, or, and he had nowhere emotionally to go. And I think a lot of people have to understand that that's what's going to go on when you transition and you leave your first love of whatever sport or whatever career. It's not just sports, it's just whatever career.
His livelihood was stripped. It was taken away from him.
Yeah.
And like he said, in an instant, in a blink of an eye, just like that.
Yeah. But then the character within himself, he came out of it, and I want to commend him. He's on to a great career, had a great career. He's not done. 959 2021 Tokyo Olympics. I'm putting Justin Gatlin up there.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward. Hey, I may be in the house. I don't know about you. That's on my bucket list, bro.
You know what? If COVID is still around, I am not traveling over there, brother. Not happening.
I mean, if they can, I mean, if they're going to be able to do it and travel, hey, I can too.
Well, let's find out. Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast with the host, Justin Gatlin, Olympic champion. Thank you, everybody. Catch us on the Himalaya app, wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right. Be sure to subscribe, share, and when you see us on social media, see on our IG Live or whatever, just swipe up. Subscribe, share, and swipe.